We're going to go to our next call here. Paula is listening to us at WFIL in South Philly. Hello, Paula. Welcome to New Life Live. How can we help you today?
Hi, I'm calling because I'm concerned about my great-granddaughter. She's 10 years old. She spends the weekday with us, and most weekends with her mother. Her father's out the picture. On Monday, she went to school and reported that her mother had hit her and cursed at her.
Oh,
and
wow.
so, of course, they got the state involved in it. We had no awareness of that. Anyway, so her mother's gotten mad with her, right, angry with her, and has threatened to give her up. She had told her that she's going to bring us all her clothes and that she's done with her. And she hasn't talked to her since Monday.
Yeah, and so is your question about what you can do about it?
Right, what can I do to help her? Because she's in a lot of pain.
Gosh, that's heavy.
She goes to the window and she looks to see if her clothes are being thrown on the lawn. And she left her a couple years ago, she left her. And she moved to another state, but they keep in contact with her. She left her with us. And she was well taken care of, but then she caved, and now she's threatening to leave again.
Wow.
And,
Paula, we're going to go to break here. I want you to stay on the line, though. We're going to go to a break. I want you to stay on the line. We can let you finish because we'd love to chat with you about your great-granddaughter. Again, we'll be right back after this break. Thanks again for joining us today on New Life Live. We're with you for 2 hours today. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. Again, 1-800-229-3000. Becky Brown, Dr. Alice Benton, and Zach Matchett are here with you. We've got Paula on the line who is calling about her 10-year-old great-granddaughter and just a really challenging situation about the girl's mother. Alice, I know you had at least a couple of follow-up questions for Paula just to kind of get some context about how to move forward and maybe how to offer some help here.
Paula, does your great-granddaughter live with you?
Most of the time, Monday through Friday, because she goes to school in our community, and then some weekends she spends with her mother.
Okay, so her mother does not live with you, but she does sometimes.
No.
And did
morning? Every morning she would come after she left work, come and dress her and take her to school, and then in the afternoon we pick her up and keep her.
And was a social worker assigned to the case, or has an investigation opened up because of that CPS report?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it has.
And have you reported the new threats to the social worker?
No, I have not.
What are your thoughts about doing that?
I'm not sure how that would help her daughter. I'm not a person who has a whole lot of trust in the system. And I think that may make it worse for her daughter in the long run. I don't know.
I would both understand, Paula, your hesitation, because the systems are so imperfect and so broken, and it's very hard to put trust in them. These additional threats are more evidence that it was right for someone to make that report, because the mother is mistreating her daughter physically and also verbally and emotionally. And the scars that are left by that kind of ongoing treatment are absolutely detrimental. There's no question about it. It's when we adults hold back and we don't intervene to try to help protect, and you already do. You take care of your great-granddaughter. But I would highly recommend that you prayerfully consider sharing the information with a social worker, because this family desperately needs help and intervention. They need therapists assigned to them. The daughter probably needs to be separated from her own mother for a time. And I'm even curious, would you be willing, Paula, to take your great-granddaughter on full-time, temporarily?
Well, we have, because she left a couple of years ago. She decided she went to go to school somewhere else, and she did. And we kept her for 2 years.
Are you willing to do so again?
Yeah, well, we have it most of the time anyway.
Yes, you already do. Is her mother active in addiction that you know of?
No, not at all. She works very hard, and I know that she loves her. She just doesn't know how to show it, or I don't know. It's just this peculiar ideas that are different from my values. Her values are different from mine. And I know that she was estranged from her mother for a while.
Paula, I have a question.
We are paternal side.
Okay.
Not the maternal side.
Paula?
Okay.
So it's your son's daughter
That's my
that
grandson's child.
your grandson's
It's
child.
my grandson's child.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And he is
he's
not in the
incarcerated,
picture. Okay.
No,
Okay.
incarcerated. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
But he
you
does call
asked
her and talk to her, but it's not like he's here every day.
you asked the question, Paula, how do I help my granddaughter, my great-granddaughter? And
Yes.
one of the things I think that you're doing already is you're providing stability as the best that you can. You are the safe home, and she knows that. What have you seen your great-granddaughter exhibit as far as her fear of her mom or just her emotional affect? What are you seeing?
I know that one time she wanted her cousin to ride with her in a car because she said that her mom was in a bad mood and if her cousin was there, she wouldn't holler at her. I know she hollered at us, but she said mean things, and you can't take them back to hitting.
Yeah.
Or feel, but inside, the damage she does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw you.
Yeah.
And the girl goes to the window to look out and see her clothes are on the lawn.
There is so much pain, and what I would suggest that you do with her, Paula, is that you assure her that you are there for her, that you are not going anywhere, that you are sorry that this is happening. I would also encourage you, if you get her a counselor that she can process this with, or maybe the two of you go together. It sounds like mom is in a lot of pain. The fact that she's not in addiction is great. But whatever is inside of her that's causing her this pain to lash out at this child is not going to go away with just hoping it goes away. And what I know for sure is that your 10-year-old great-granddaughter is going to have a response to the pain that's going to be bigger than just the sadness that she feels right now. She needs to have her value reinstated. And so the messages of that she is loved, she is cared for. We're going to do what we can to get you safe. I know that this has been hard. Those kind of things can really be helpful. And then also reiterate with her that she can say whatever she needs to say to you, and we're going to work this out. We're going to figure out a way to help mom, because here's the other thing about abusive situations. She probably, that's the hard part about these situations, is that she doesn't want to get her mom in trouble, and which sounds so backwards, but that happens.
When the social worker came to the house, she said, "Are you going to send my mom to jail?" When she went to her counseling school, she thought the counselor was going to call her mom to tell her stop. She did not realize that the counselor had a legal obligation to report it. Yeah. And so she was really upset, and she apologized to her mother, and she texted her. She said, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was going to be this big." And mom said, "I don't care. I'm not accepting your apology."
Paula, if you have the mother's ear at all, if there's a little bit of trust or relationship there, you don't. I'm still gonna propose this, even though there's hardly any relationship or none at all, because in my experience with Child Protective Services, and I've had to make many calls, and I hate doing it every single time, because although I want the family protected and I want them to get help, I know that the intervention will be disruptive. But there are holy disruptions that do unsettle things, but they bring a bright light to bear on the relationship and on the situation, because the abuse needs to be acknowledged and the child needs to be protected. But CPS, Child Protective Services, looks for two things. They look for the parent's willingness to engage in therapy, and the faster a parent is willing to get into structured help, the less Child Protective Services has to intervene, and the more likely it is that they won't remove a child. They also look for other stable family members like yourself who are willing to temporarily house the child if necessary. And so your relationship with Child Protective Services can help to stabilize things faster. And if anybody has the mother's ear and is willing to encourage her, get therapy now so that you can show Child Protective Services you're getting help, it would be good for her to have that knowledge and that bit of encouragement.
Yeah. Well, I just think that too. Go ahead, Paula.
Whenever I speak to the mother, she's always extremely polite. She's never sarcastic. She's never nasty. She's never done anything disrespectful at all. But there's never any follow-up. It's like I talk to the wall. She's very, I've tried to reach out to her because she's been in my life for 10 years. And talk to her about different things, and she would just acknowledge I'm talking, but there was no follow-up. There was nothing.
And Paula, sometimes we have to still take the action step, even if it's not likely that there will be a result. But your willingness to do any of these things shows your granddaughter that she's loved and cared for and protected by someone in her life. It may be that it doesn't result in what we're hoping, but it is still worthwhile to take the action. And thank you for being such a present great-grandmother for your great-granddaughter. You're amazing.
Yes. And I wanted to also say the pastoral help could help. You know, Zach, you deal with kids all the time in your ministry.
Yeah.
And I think a pastor could also be a good voice in this child's ear of her worth and her value. This is a really disrupted family on so many different levels. And Paula, you are great-grandmother of the year, and I know that that's not a job that you wanted. And yet, at the same time, God's going to use you to continue to minister to this child. But I do think that if you have a church community, that could also be another avenue that could offer some support.
Well, it could be a stabilizing force, too. I mean, there's so many situations where, you know, our goal, I think any local church should be, the primary goal should be to help partner with families of all kinds to help raise their kids. That it's the primary responsibility of the family. However, there are certain situations where certain families of origin are just not able to do that for one reason or another. And sometimes the church needs to fill in the gap in some way. It doesn't necessarily need to hijack the responsibility, but there does need to be a support. So yeah, I mean, whether it be a local student ministry, a children's ministry of some kind, some sort of a youth program, again, the power of being in relationship where there's something healthy, there's something, there's tangible sense of love, there's a tangible sense of belonging. That could be a real stabilizing.
Hey, Zach.
Force. Yeah.
Can we send the great-granddaughter a copy of Kirby McCook and the Jesus Chronicles?
That'd be amazing. Yes, and I want to send How We Love Our Kids to Paula as well. And again, just from the grandparent side of it too, I just think those resources would be helpful. Yes, that'd be awesome to send the Kirby book. That's a great suggestion.